All right, so in this video, I'm going to be going over 10 unconventional things that I did to help me lose 80 pounds in less than a year. And obviously, as you can see from my transformation, my before picture is me at 260 pounds. I was binge eating, not taking care of myself, not living a healthy lifestyle, and my confidence was literally at zero, right? And then here's me after losing 80 pounds. I am here at 180, and this is me feeling confident. I'm taking care of myself. I'm living a healthier lifestyle, and I have learned how to maintain my weight loss at this point. So, just jumping right into it. Number one thing that I did is I front load my protein, right? So, in the morning, obviously, we want to make sure we're eating something. And adding on top of that, we want to make sure that it's high in protein. One, because protein is the most satiating macronutrient, so which means it's going to keep you the fullest for the longest. So, one, you want to eat it in the morning so that it fills you up, so that you're starting your day off with a meal that's going to sustain you for your morning. And number two, you want to get ahead on your protein goal. Us as women, especially, have a really difficult time hitting our protein goal sometimes because we're just not used to eating that much protein, especially if you're just starting out. But in order to make sure that our weight loss is fat loss and not muscle loss, we need to be meeting our protein goal. And one of the easiest ways that I found to make sure that I met my protein goal at the end of every day was to front load 30, 40, 50 grams in the morning so that it didn't get to a point where it was 9 p.m. and I still had 80 grams of protein left to get in my day, right? When you get a large chunk of it out in the morning every single day, that sets you up to be able to hit your protein goal a lot easier in, the later meals of the day. And obviously, protein, most satiating macronutrient, it's going to reduce hunger between your meals. So a lot of times what happens is you eat a breakfast and it's something small. It's like a pastry item from Starbucks or something like that. Something that is really heavy in simple carbs, but doesn't have a lot of protein, doesn't have a lot of fiber. So it doesn't hold you over for that long. So an hour or two after eating it, you start feeling hungry immediately. And obviously you can't eat another meal 2 hours later. So, you feel the need to start snacking. And that snackiness, that peckishness is what leads the extra calories, the hidden calories to add up in the day. So when you eat a meal that's high in protein and fills you up in the morning, that's going to keep you fuller until your next meal. So you don't feel the need to snack in between. Number two is going to be drinking water with electrolytes every single morning. So our body has a difficult time differentiating a lot of the times between hunger and thirst. So when we wake up in the morning, making sure that you're drinking enough water. I personally go for 32 ounces, but you can start at 8 or 16 and work your way up if you want. Everybody has a different tolerance for how much water they can drink at one time. I started at 16 and I moved up to 32. So by doing that and starting your day off hydrated properly, you're going to help regulate your hunger hormones so that your body isn't starting off by, confusing hunger and thirst and causing you to snack and eat random things just because you can't differentiate between being thirsty and being hungry. So we want to drink the water. And then also, electrolytes paired with water are going to optimize your hydration. So proper hydration levels are going to lead to optimal bodily functions, right? Electrolytes are so important in our body, and they're used in so many of our bodily functions that we need to make sure we're replenishing them, especially if we're people who work out consistently, get sweaty, have an active job, things like that. And pre-hydrating in the morning and loading up on your water, loading up on your electrolytes is going to help you for whatever time you work out in the day, right? A lot of times people focus on drinking water during their workout, but we forget that we need to drink water before it too, right? So a lot of times what happens is you're going into your workout really dehydrated and you're trying to play catch up as you're sweating during your workout. It's just not going to work as well. What's better is that you preload your hydration and you come into your workout already hydrated so that you can fully, work to your full potential, push yourself to your full potential without being limited by dehydration. Number three, having a high fiber intake every single day that is stable throughout the day, meaning that you're eating a little bit of fiber in every meal, right? Because if you just eat a ton of fiber in one meal, you might experience a little bit of digestive discomfort. But if you split it up consistently in smaller amounts with each meal, you're going to be a lot better off. You're going to feel a lot better. So fiber, similar to protein in that it keeps you fuller for longer. What happens when you eat fiber and you also have water in your system is that the fiber actually expands when it absorbs the water, and that's what helps keep your your digestive system moving through, right? That's what helps you have consistent bowel movements and things like that, and helps prevent you from being constipated or having indigestion. And fiber has these properties where it basically regulates your digestion schedule. So as it's expanding, it's moving through, right? If you have a consistent amount coming in every single day and you have it split up in manageable amounts in each meal, it's going to constantly be moving through your digestive system, right? So that's going to create a digestion schedule. So when you start eating fiber, you want to get between 25 to 30 grams a day. And if you keep doing that consistently for a couple weeks, if you're starting out from a place of not really getting fiber, you might feel a little bit of digestive discomfort just because your body has to adjust to it. But after those like couple weeks, maybe like 1-2 weeks, you're going to feel a lot better. Your digestion is going to be so much better, and it's going to be so much more consistent as well. And fiber is a prebiotic, which means that the probiotics, the healthy gut bacteria in your gut microbiome, that is their main source of fuel. So fiber is the main source of fuel and energy that allows your gut microbiome, the bacteria in your gut that's healthy, that helps you digest things. The fiber is the main energy source for them. So that means in order for those bacteria to be functioning optimally and maintaining a healthy balance of each type of bacteria in your gut, you need to be providing them with an adequate source of fuel, which is the fiber. Number 4, creating and following a sleep schedule. So adequate sleep is what helps regulate hunger. When our sleep is bad quality, when our sleep is inconsistent, that's what causes our hunger cues to essentially be out of whack, right? So a consistent circadian rhythm is going to lead to not only better sleep in terms of time, but better sleep in terms of quality. How deep of a sleep are you getting into, right? Because there's no point of having 8 hours of the worst sleep of your life, right? You're going to end up waking up even more tired than when you started. So having that deep sleep is going to allow our body to fully reset every night, to fully recover, and to wake up well rested with all of our bodily functions operating at optimal levels, including our hunger hormones, right? So also, I mean, good sleep, it definitely leads to more energy. So that's going to allow you to have enough energy to do your daily tasks, like go to work, exercise, do your chores, everything like that. Take care of your kids. So sleep is one of the main important things that's going to help you on your weight loss journey. And without sleep, it's going to be very, very easy to fall off because your hunger hormones are going to be out of whack. You're going to be feeling snackish and hungry when you're not actually needing food. And then also, you're not going to have enough energy for your body to recover from your workouts. And that's going to lead you to be less active during the day and potentially skip workouts and skip your steps and things like that. Number 5, this one is a fun one. So low calorie swaps of your favorite foods. Luckily, we are at a day and age where the food industry has caught up to us, especially in the US. So any food that you love eating that you would consider a guilty pleasure or any of those kind of things, right? Something that you really like to eat, but it wouldn't necessarily align with your goals to eat it consistently every day or every week. Having a low calorie swap of that food is going to help make your journey more fun and more enjoyable, right? It's going to allow you to not fully give up on foods that you actually love eating, right? And it's not to say that you can't eat the real full calorie version of it every once in a while, but if you're somebody who has weight loss goals, and you want to find ways to incorporate your favorite foods more often, these low calorie swaps are actually going to be really helpful in that. So obviously, being able to eat foods you enjoy is going to increase the sustainability of your diet, and it's going to increase your adherence to it long term. So it's going to help you create balance in your diet when you use them as tools. So obviously, we want to be prioritizing whole foods, but we can't deny that sometimes we get a craving for chips or candy or things like that, cookies, right? And instead of dwelling on the craving and putting yourself in a mindset of extreme restriction, which is eventually going to lead to a binge, what you can do instead is to find the low calorie swap of it, use that to fulfill that craving, to get a little bit of that taste that you're kind of craving in your mind, and then just move on from it, right? Because eating that is going to be more helpful for you than just to constantly feel like you can't have things, to constantly restrict, because all that restriction is going to eventually lead up to a binge, and then it would have just been, less harmful to actually eat the thing as opposed to dwelling on how you can't have it and then eating that and a bunch more anyway. So another good thing about these low calorie swaps is that a lot of times they're either high fiber, high protein, or both. So we already talked about the benefits of the fiber and the protein. So that's only going to add on to the benefits for weight loss, right? And then obviously using these, when you use them as a tool, it's going to help you develop that long-term healthy lifestyle, because in order to lose the weight, you need to have a sustainable plan and you need to be able to adhere to it. But also, you need to be building lifestyle habits that you can stick to forever if you want to actually maintain your weight loss and prevent that rebound weight gain. And number 6 is going to be switching to diet soda or diet drinks. Any drinks that are from anywhere between 10 to 0 calories are going to save your life when you're losing weight, because if you're somebody who is more prone to getting hungry or more prone to cravings, when you use calories on liquids, like drinks from Starbucks, things like that, those calories don't necessarily keep you full for that long. So essentially they become empty calories, because you're basically taking calories that you could have eaten a full meal out of and using them on a drink that isn't going to fill you up. So obviously you can still have a fun drink every now and then. For me, I always let myself get a caramel brulee latte from Starbucks every single Christmas. That's like one of my things that I just really want it. So I allow myself to have it because I can, right? But on a daily basis, I don't necessarily want to be using 500-600 calories for a drink. It's just, I'm somebody who's more prone to hunger, so that's not the wisest use of my calories. So in order to make sure that I have enough calories where I can be eating full meals out of them, I switched to diet drinks, low calorie drinks. And when you drink diet sodas, you can still have those fun drinks, those sweet treats on the go, right? For me, what I do is if I want to go on a little Target run with a cute, like, little treat or, a little drink, fun thing, I always just get a cute cup, I pour some diet soda into it, or I get a low calorie drink from Starbucks, right? Whether that's, an iced cold brew with stevia, or whether that's, an iced tea with stevia or anything with sugar-free vanilla. Like, those low calorie drinks make it so that you can still have those fun drinks and sweet treats on the go, and you can still do your Target runs and go out with your friends and things like that, but you can still be sticking to your goals, right? And one thing about carbonated drinks specifically is that they're going to fill you up temporarily just because of the carbonation. So if you're like kind of close to another meal and you're feeling hungry, but you really don't want to snack, and there's not enough time to have a full meal in between and then have another meal after, what you can do is you can drink a diet soda, drink something carbonated to just temporarily fill you up and hold you over until that next meal. Especially if it's like really close to the time when you're going to eat it, just do that and you'll be good. And another thing is that, again, we're at a day and age where the food industry has caught up to us. So there are actually so many different flavors of diet soda, diet drinks. There's so many varieties, so many variations, right? as, staples, but also there's a ton of like seasonal things too. And so with all of that variety, most of the sweet cravings that you end up getting, whether it be fruity, whether it be purely sweet or like some kind of vanilla, something like that, most of the time that sweet craving can be fulfilled by a 0 calorie or low calorie drink or a diet soda, right? There's diet soda, there's diet juice, diet fruit punch, diet lemonade. Like there's so many low calorie drinks. There's Gatorade Zero. Like most of your cravings can be satisfied by a 0 calorie drink. And the good thing about 0 calorie drinks is that most of the content of the actual drink is water. It's not taken up by sugar. The amount of artificial sweetener or stevia or whatever's in it is so minuscule that you can actually count the fluid of the 0 calorie drink towards your water intake, since it's basically like 99 point something percent water. Obviously, you want to make sure you're still drinking like regular water, right? But in order to actually make hitting your water goal sustainable, which is really difficult for a lot of people, using diet soda as a tool, using flavor enhancers as a tool, diet juice, those things are going to make it way easier for you to consistently hit your water goal, right? So artificial sweeteners are not bad for you, but if you're somebody who does want to limit them, it's going to be healthier in the long run to consistently hit your water goal and have a little bit of that artificial sweetener than it is to restrict artificial sweetener and then never meet your water goal because it's too hard, right? So, number 7, drinking caffeine 30 minutes after waking up to control your hunger. So, obviously, it's ideal to give yourself 30, if you don't have 30, 15 at least minutes to gradually and naturally wake up before you like slam caffeine, right? But once you wait that 15 to 30 minutes, having caffeine and starting your morning with a moderate amount of caffeine, so a cup of coffee, a latte, a little bit like a portion of an energy drink, something like that, is going to help you because caffeine is an appetite suppressant. It's a mild appetite suppressant, but it does work very well when you use it. So it's going to help you if you use it in the morning because it'll allow you to delay your first meal. And when you delay your first meal, you're going to decrease the gaps that you have of time between other meals. So you're going to essentially create less opportunity for yourself to be hungry and feel snacky in between meals during the day. So caffeine is going to help you because if you start your day with caffeine, you're probably not going to get hungry until a couple hours after you drink it. And then there you go. You just delayed your first meal so that now you're decreasing the gaps between the other meals of the day. So if you delay your first meal, there's going to be less time between your first and second, and your less time between your second and your third, and so on. And then also caffeine, obviously, it increases your energy, gives you that boost, helps you with cognitive function, and it just helps you with feeling productive and feeling energized to actually start your day. So this is especially helpful if you work out early in the morning, right? It's going to allow you to just feel ready to get up, go do your workout before work, and then continue on with the rest of your day. Number 8, following a meal schedule. So the reason that this is here is because your body craves routine and predictability. If you think back to when you were in elementary school, when you were in high school, middle school, whatever, we had a consistent meal schedule based off of our classes and based off of our school day, right? So if you notice, if you think back to it, a lot of times our hunger was the highest when it was time to eat, when our body knew that we were going to eat pretty soon, right? So you start feeling hungrier around snack time, around like 10 a.m. You start feeling hungrier around 12 or 1 p.m. because that's when lunch is. Hungrier after school because you know that you're going to go home and get a snack, right? Your body craves that predictability because it can adjust to it. And when you create that meal schedule and you follow it as closely as you can, you're giving your body the opportunity to adjust its hunger cues to that routine so that you're not having unpredictable hunger throughout the day. Your body knows when it's going to eat and it will adjust its hunger cues to that. And this is going to lead to reduced hunger over time. obviously due to allowing your body to adjust to a routine and stick to it for a long time. And it's also going to prevent you from missing or adding meals. So when you have a meal schedule, it's going to prevent you from forgetting to eat the entire day and then having to find something to eat really quick late at night and then ending up binging because you're starving, right? And then also it's going to prevent you from accidentally using all of your calories in the beginning of the day, and then it's 7 or 8 p.m. You've already eaten all your calories, but you're just so hungry that you need to eat something else. And then there you go, you just added a meal, right? So when you have a meal schedule, it actually prevents you from either missing those meals or adding in extra meals. And it also forces you to plan out your meals in advance, which is really beneficial because when you plan out your meals in advance, you put yourself in a state of consciousness where you're making healthier decisions. So you can actually think thoroughly without the immediate hunger kind of taking over your brain. You can make healthier decisions. You can make more conscious decisions about the things that you actually want to eat, and you can keep your goals in mind without your hunger kind of being there and trying to guide your decisions for you. Number 9, having designated eating locations. So this is one of the more unconventional ones, but it's especially helpful for people who struggle with binge eating disorder. So there are mental associations between location and hunger or location and food. There's a reason why when you walk past a restaurant in a mall or something, or a shopping complex or something like that, even if you weren't hungry before, just the smell of that restaurant, just the sight of that restaurant, just the feeling of that restaurant is automatically subconsciously making you hungry because you already have that association in your mind with food, hunger, and that place, right? It's the same thing with the places that you eat. So for me, I choose to avoid eating in places that I used to binge or places that I used to sleep or relax, right? What happened before was that I would binge eat in my bed and I would binge watch Netflix. So I wanted to be in my bed because I wanted to be comfy watching Netflix and I wanted to binge eat, right? So by doing that over and over and over again, I created a mental association between binge eating and watching Netflix and then binge eating and my bed. So anytime I would be in my bed, which is somewhere I had to be every single night in order to go to sleep, I would always have the urge to binge because I already created that association. So it was really hard for me to, one, fall asleep without binging beforehand, and two, to actually get good quality sleep and relax in that bed because I was constantly triggered by being in bed. I constantly wanted to binge because I had created that association. So eating in those places is going to encourage the formation or the return of bad eating habits. So when you have one or two places that are specifically designated for eating, for me, it would be the kitchen table, or it could be eating at one specific cushion of the couch with the TV tray, whatever it may be, whatever you can do. Those having those places specifically designated for eating alone is going to make it so that your brain adjusts to mainly feeling the urge to eat when you're around those locations, and it's going to help you break any associations you had before. Like if you also had an association between binge eating and your bed, it's going to help you kind of steer away from that and break that as long as you don't go back to eating in your bed. And the last one is going to be the most unconventional, and that's going to be brushing your teeth or drinking peppermint tea or chewing gum or anything like that. But there's a specific reason why brushing your teeth is going to be the most effective one. So the reason why is because it's going to interrupt your urge to binge on multiple levels, right? So the first level is going to be toothpaste. Minty toothpaste is going to simulate the after dinner mint effect, and it's going to signal to your brain that you are done eating. There's a reason why you feel super refreshed and you feel a lot better after you eat a meal, or after you eat a mint, when you go to like a fancy restaurant, like say Olive Garden or something. Like they always give you that like after dinner mint, and usually you just got done eating like a super heavy meal and then you eat the mint after and you feel refreshed and your brain has received the minty signal that you are done eating. That's going to be the same effect that your toothpaste is going to give you. And then the second level of interruption is going to be the act of brushing your teeth, right? So brushing your teeth is associated with either very early in the morning or the very end of the day. Both of those times are times when you typically are not eating, right? And the act of brushing your teeth, especially when you're doing it late at night, is signaling to your brain that you are done for the day. You're winding down. You're not eating anything else, right? And then when you're brushing your teeth at the very beginning of the day, typically you don't really want to eat something immediately after you brush your teeth because it feels kind of disgusting, right? So by brushing your teeth, you're going to subconsciously create those feelings of being done with eating or not wanting to eat yet in your mind. So that's going to interrupt the binge pattern or the binge tendency. And, you know, you're basically telling yourself that you're not eating anything else for the rest of the day, or you're not eating anything else at this very moment, right? You can use this at any time of the day. If you have an urge to binge at noon, you can use this and it's going to work. So when you are brushing your teeth, it's interrupting your binge mindset on other levels by using those mental associations that you have to distract and redirect your urge to binge before it actually turns into a binge, right? So the key to preventing a binge is catching it before you actually start binging. Because once you actually start binging, it is significantly harder to stop. But if you are stopping it before it starts, if you're getting ahead of it, it's a lot easier to interrupt it and it's a lot easier to redirect it. So these are 10 of the unconventional things I did on my weight loss journey. If you have any questions about them, or if you want any clarification on these things, or if you want to know any more, I definitely have more. If so, go ahead and leave them in the comments. And if you are somebody who is looking for more one-on-one support, you can either DM me on Instagram, or you can click the Calendly link below and book yourself in a call, and I can, help you go over your current situation and see how I can help you out with that.